There's a bigger issue here. Just because a group of people belong to the Federation, it does not mean that they are saints. The trouble is Earth. On Earth, there is no poverty, no crime, no war. You look out the window of Starfleet headquarters and you see paradise. Well, it's easy to be a saint in paradise. Out there, all the problems haven't been solved yet. Out there are no saints, just people. Angry, scared, determined people who are going to do whatever it takes to survive.
What I want to know is, out of all the stories you told me, which ones were true and which ones weren't?
My dear doctor, they're all true.
Even the lies?
Especially the lies.
On behalf of the Bajoran government
And the Promenade Merchants Association,
I officially welcome you to Deep Space Nine.
Welcome back to Especially the Lies, normally a Deep Space Nine podcast, but we are here going through all of the episodes of the latest entry in the Star Trek franchise, Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And we are now halfway through the first season of Starfleet Academy with Episode 5, Series Acclamation Mill. In this episode, one of the cadets sets out to solve an ancient Starfleet mystery, and she embarks on a journey of self-discovery and learns the value of forging her own path. Meanwhile, Nala agrees to help a fellow chancellor with an elaborate alien ritual that involves a farting fish, apparently. I am Blake, and with me is...
Prentice,
Kevin,
and Emily.
So let's go ahead and jump in and grab some first impressions on this episode. And let's start with Emily.
I liked it overall. I didn't like the Kelrick storyline. I didn't really see that brought much to the episode other than the farting blobfish on the table, which was mildly entertaining because I do enjoy juvenile humor once in a while. Otherwise, I actually really liked Sam's storyline and her trying to discover not only who she is, but who Sisko was as a person and an emissary, and trying to figure out how he balanced the two. And it was great to have Jake back. It may have had me in the feels for a bit.
Prentice.
just lifting that up a bit. As somebody that grew up watching Deep Space Nine, I remember when it premiered January of '93, and watching it with my dad, it has significance for me. That's why I wanted to do the podcast in the first place. So seeing Sisko back, I mean, not Sisko, but Jake Sisko, it was amazing. All the feels. And I think also the fact that Tawny wrote this episode, she's amazing. I have come to respect her as being somebody that can actually understand Star Trek and what makes it great. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of her writing in the future for Star Trek. Now, I have not watched much of Laura Dex. I know I'm missing out. You would tell me about that. But I've heard she's talented. I'm looking forward to seeing more out of her in the future. And I grew to like Sam even more because at first Sam was a little bit annoying. But as time progresses, I'm come to be okay with her. So for me, it was a good episode. I'm glad they were able to respect the history of Deep Space Nine. They didn't necessarily bring back Sisko per se, but the memories and the way they crafted the episode, it made a lot of sense. And I was very happy with the outcome. It was going to be easy in my mind to really mess this up. But in the end, they still maintained the mystery. They still remind you what was great about Deep Space Nine. And for those of us that grew up with this, especially in the 90s, it was a great episode. Just to remind you that for me, thumbs up, great episode.
Now, I'm going to say Kevin messaged our group chat earlier, and we listen and we don't judge.
We judge.
But Kevin, your first impression.
Overall, I did not like the episode. Let me start off by saying a few things. I love Deep Space Nine. I love Avery Brooks. I love Sarah Lofton. I love Tawny Newsome. I really like Lower Decks. I do not like the Sam character, and that has nothing to do with the acting because she's acting what she's being written. I don't know who came up with character, but it's a very juvenile, innocent character who has an incredibly juvenile idea of certain concepts, including the emissary concept, at least early on in the episode. Them ending the episode with the DS9 music was great. The entire scene with Sir Lofton and Sam was good. The voiceover from Avery Brooks at the end was really good. But most of the episode, I was just not only bored, but annoyed at how they were doing some crazy pop-up video shit and getting hologram drunk and having some Imperious leader voice Tron shit with do this or we're basically going to bring you back and make you a laughing stock or whatever the heck they're talking about. I'm just going to say it. I'm not a fan of this 31st century stuff, and maybe that's coloring my judgment, but I just am not a fan of the 31st century stuff, particularly the Starfleet Academy stuff. It just does not ring with me, I guess.
So the entire creative direction of this era of Star Trek is problematic. I'm feeling the same way, Kevin. I want you to know that because I've been struggling. So I just want to get your honest impression since Discovery.
And I really need to see the last couple seasons of Discovery, but I was also to the point where I wasn't enjoying it. Exactly. And I'm not someone who's going to hate watch, and I'm not also going to be somebody who's going to dislike something for the wrong reasons. All these fuckers who don't like it because it's woke or whatever can kiss my ass. But I have reasons why it's just not ringing with me, and I don't fully understand why, but the storyline with Kelrick was not at all interesting to me. It seemed forced, but that's kind of how a lot of the Sam stuff felt. I mean, the discussions that she was having with Tawny Newsome, and as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my God, she's actually playing, Tawny is actually playing that character. I can tell. And then when she had the book, I was like, wait, who is she? So I could see something was coming. I didn't think of the whole Dax idea, but I did kind of like that tie-in. But overall, at least 2/3 of the episode, I was just like, oh my God, this is mind-numbing. Why am I watching this?
I have to admit, I did fall asleep. So while I say I love the episode, that other story arc, I did kind of forget about that. And I was strictly focused on seeing Jake, seeing Tawny, and just the good parts of the episode. But Kevin, you're valid in terms of your criticism. I'm not going to debate you on that.
If this was a short and it was like a 5 or 10 minute episode and it was just the end with Sir Lofton and the voiceover and all that, I would have loved it. But it was getting to that point that was painful to me to watch. All right, Blake, tell me why I'm wrong. Go ahead.
I'm not Scott. I'm not going to tell you that you're welcome to be wrong.
You did earlier. I'm just
well, yeah, but
you were joking. I know, it's fine.
So I do have my issues with this episode. I overall like it, particularly the pieces with Jake, Tawny Newsome as Ilea Dax, that voiceover at the end, even having that blurred image of Avery Brooks kind of in the clouds over San Francisco that they had in there. And I will say before I keep reviewing the episode, the night I watched this was right after we did our season 2 recap show. It was a few days after we did that. And this is one of the things we talked about where there were these episodes and you would send messages. Scott and I would message back and forth of, had we seen this, or holy shit, you need to watch that. This is one of those episodes we would have done that. And I mean, I still have the chat. The last message I sent Scott was one of the episodes I had watched, and it was that same type of, holy shit, did you see this? This episode hit damn near every feel that I had the first time I watched it through, because I know how much he would have loved seeing that character come back and seeing the continuation of that story. So kind of like Emily, this hit like every single one of the feels. But with the episode, I think there's some structural problems with it. I'll be honest, everything before the title sequence, I hated. That narration where she's just sort of walking through the, Kevin, as you called it, the pop-up video pieces. I did not necessarily care for that as that opener. The other part, the humor in this one, there was at least 2 dick joke references made at the start when she talked about blood flow, but also, as much as I love Stephen Colbert when he's doing the Digital Dean of Students and talks about going to see Morning Wood at that point. So those pieces annoyed me a little bit. I think there was potential in this episode if they would have tweaked a few pieces, one being the storyline with Kelrick. I get why they did that. They're trying to build a relationship there between Nala and Kelrick because there has been tension between them, and they're right in the fact that they can't expect the cadets from the Academy and the War College to get along if the two chancellors are noticeably at odds with each other. Do I think they succeeded successfully with that storyline? I think the dinner was a little bit too much of a farce type thing, but I get where they were going. But overall, this episode gave me vibes back to The Next Generation with the episode Data's Day, where they had Data narrating a message to Bruce Maddox throughout his day. And I got a little bit of that vibe with this. I just don't like how they executed it. Again, I think they could have cut out that entire pre-credit sequence and restructured that to be Sam interacting and maybe talking with the other students, somehow having those conversations to frame that without that just narration and exposition piece. I do kind of understand where the character's at though, because I think it's important to keep in mind is these other characters are humans that have grown up. They've have lived experiences. Sam was created in the story 17 days before being sent to the academy. Like no background, no, it's you have been created. Your job is to go learn, can we trust humans? And you are to report back to us on this by a society that has no understanding other than their experience of humanoids and basically used us as servants. They left. We are now our own thing, and we don't want to go back to that. So we want to learn, can we trust them? And so I get where they play that in with the night with Sam being naive. Another part of this I did really like though. I loved watching the growing relationship between our Klingon Jaden and just the weird little Kyle of the War College. That they're
The
all standing
Happy
there
War
facing
College.
they're all standing there facing off in the bar, and you just get Kyle. Nice jackets.
Hmm.
It's like just a weird little. So I did like that. And again, I like it overall, even though I do think it has some problems in the way they put it together and some of the creative choices.
Did Caleb come off kind of creepy in this one to anybody?
He frequently comes across as
Yeah, he
creepy,
frequently.
so
I just like, could you guys just dial it down a little bit? It just feels like they're making them, I don't want to say unlikable, but less likable than I would prefer them to be. The other thing that annoys me about this series is it feels like while trying to appeal to a younger audience, they're just kind of dumbing it down and they're making it toilet humor.
Yeah.
That's just not respectful of the Star Trek history. And you can make something fresh and new and appeal to a younger audience without resorting to dick jokes. So I think,
Not that we don't mind the occasional dick joke.
yeah, but
when they're well done and tasteful,
Yeah, at least when
of
they're well
course.
done.
if it had just been the Colbert one, I would have laughed.
Mm-hmm.
But they overdid it. And as somebody who has overdone every joke he's ever told, I know what that looks like.
Yeah, that first one where it was blood rushes to the face. Oh, and other places with the arrow going down. It's like, okay, not only did you say it, you drew it on the screen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. If it had just been the Colbert one, it would have been. So, for the audience who doesn't know, I was on the Babylon 5 show. I needed a break after we finished Babylon 5. So, I haven't even been really listening to especially the lies. And then, of course,
God damn it, we need the listeners, Kevin. Get on it.
I know. Well, so then the last couple of weeks, I don't want to listen to 3 or 4 political podcasts anymore because I think it's rotting my brain. So I said, all right, well, I need something more fun. So I'm going to start listening to especially the lies. And of course, didn't really think about what it was going to be like listening to Scott's voice for several hours a day. And so I did that a lot this weekend, and I'm up to the Dax episode, which I think is like 7 or 8. And we're about to get to move along home as soon as I do Passenger or whatever it is. But I digress. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I really wish that I had listened to it earlier so that I could have messaged Scott a couple of times, because a couple of times he and I would have like dead on agreed. And a couple of times I would have wanted to throw down and have a nice little argument about a couple of things. And it's really awful that I can't.
I can't believe that you and Scott ever would have argued over anything.
I mean, it's absolutely shocking. Who would
Shocking.
have thought such a thing was possible?
Well, and it's weird because in the first seven, I think it's 7 episodes that I've listened to, I've been on Scott's side more than Christopher's side, and that's
Wild.
yeah, it is. I don't know what that's about, and I don't know what the future's going to hold for Christopher on especially the lies, but he hasn't really gelled, I don't think, with the series yet, so that might come into it. And there's a lot of discussion about the Doctor, and I like the Doctor, so yeah, it's been an interesting few days listening to the first 7 episodes of especially the lies, and I'm trying to do it right, so I'm also watching the episodes even though I've done a more recent rewatch than many. It's been interesting.
Spoiler alert, season 2 gets a little rough near the start.
A
Yeah.
spicy chipmunk.
Oh boy.
Oh
Okay.
boy. Yes, oh boy.
So anyway, back to
Sorry. Yeah.
Starfleet Academy.
Yeah. I digressed. I'm sorry.
One
It's
thing I
all
want to
right.
comment on the production of this one too is so Sirach Lofton actually worked with Tawny Newsome quite a bit on the production of this one, right down even to the costume design. He brought in for the costume that he did, it was fabric that he had picked up on one of his trips to Ethiopia. So he had brought that in and really helped develop what would his character look like all those years later. The wearing the Bajoran earring, the design of the clothing. He was integral to all of that. But in addition, one of the nights after they were filming, it was Sirach Lofton, Tawny Newsome, and Carice Brooks were in a van basically going to go get dinner. After they had finished filming, Sirach gets a phone call and it's Avery Brooks. So Avery ended up getting put on the phone with Tawny Newsome and Carice Brooks. They have said they will not share what was in the conversation, that will stay private amongst the group that had it. But they did say that it was a fantastic phone call with him talking to the new cast member and more or less passing the legacy to a younger generation. Sirach also was the one who brought in the recording of Avery Brooks from his jazz album Here to do that voiceover at the end.
Do you know how hard that jazz album is to like find to
Oh, it's
purchase?
damn near impossible.
Because I looked. I spent like a year trying to find it, and I eventually just had to give up because I was started getting my little heart broken. It's fucking hard. So if anyone has any leads, let me know.
What is the name of the jazz?
Here.
Here.
When was it recorded? 95?
I don't know when it was recorded. But if it tells you anything, it's not even on Apple. Like, it's not on iTunes.
Well, I figured that. It's probably on vinyl. It's probably hard to find. I'm just thinking there's a number of local shops here in the city that might be a good place to search for that album.
Released in 2009.
2009? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen the price for it? How much is it going for if you should find
I haven't even found a price for it.
It
Like
looks
I couldn't even find an option to purchase it.
Is it on YouTube? It seems like it is. I don't want to
By other people have posted it, so
Yeah. Well, and they commented on basically they got the permission from Avery himself to use the voiceover because it's not in any of the licensing databases that they could use. Like they had to get permission from him. It was not in one of the things they could license.
Is he not acting anymore?
No, he's fully retired.
Okay.
But one of the things, I mean, you commented on Prentice watching this originally, and one of the main premises, and we've talked about this on the show, was not just on screen. I mean, Avery Brooks wanted to be a father figure, both in the show with Jake as a son, but Sirach has also talked quite a bit about that relationship continued off screen as well. And I think this really is a continuation of that.
Yeah, I remember listening to you guys talk about that on one of the episodes. It was one of the first couple. It might have even been Emissary, and I think it was Prentice who was talking about that. And it was really cool because you guys mentioned Fresh Prince, and really the only other dad in that era would have been Bill Cosby, and of course we don't really want to talk about him now, even though there's nothing wrong with the show. But so this was a really, really positive, and one of the very first positive black dads on television that was really showing how well it really showed how TV had not been good enough to minority dads at that point, because everything else had been an awful stereotype.
Yeah, and that point is definitely lift that up. And to point out that he was a single father,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was the qualifier that made it so different. You
Oh,
speak
yeah.
of Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he's
Yep.
married. You think of Bill Cosby's character, he's married. But a single black father that was in command position, that was responsible, and had a healthy relationship with his son, that's what made that so beautiful. So looking at Avery Brooks and looking at Jake or looking at Chirac, it's been amazing. And I knew about their dynamics, how he basically Chirac had a second father for all intents and purposes. And it was a beautiful thing. And to this day, I respect Avery for his stance. I think some of his stances, I think Chirac talked about this years ago that he believed that he was blackballed at some point in Hollywood. I think that was a comment I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. It might correct me. But Avery was a very proud man, man of dignity. He fought for his character, his depiction of character and culture in the series, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You can't say that for a lot of people. So yeah, definitely big up to Avery for maintaining a sense of dignity, for portrayal of Cisco, and the relationship between him and Sharon. It was a beautiful thing.
One of the things I liked about their relationship specifically is if you go back to 90s, a lot of the fathers, their relationships with their kids were based on like covert bullying, making fun of them. It's always a joke, or the dad's incompetent. And he was not an incompetent father, and their interactions were not based on belittling Jake.
Right.
And it is interesting because I didn't grow up with this show, but watching it as an adult and then watching other TV from that time and just how different their relationship really was. And even like that, just some of the basic interactions that in other TV, because they were like comedies, it would have been the basis for a joke as opposed to a serious conversation.
I don't know where you guys have gone with it since the first season, but they really got into some difficult stuff with teenager years, and I felt like they could not have possibly handled that better in those seasons.
Yes.
Because Cisco was supportive without inappropriately telling him exactly what he thought he should do and then forcing it on him. And there's that fateful decision he makes to basically stow away in alien territory. And he's like, well, there's nothing we can do about it now. He made his choice. He's a man. There's nothing I can do about it now. And I always felt like that was one of the best things that show.
And another one of the things I like that I think this episode did well is even going back to the finale of Deep Space Nine. By the way, especially the Lies listeners, this is going to have spoilers. So if you're listening and don't want spoilers, shame on you. But
I edit that in earlier.
yeah, whatever. If they haven't figured us out by now,
right?
They should know better.
They should know better. But Avery in the series finale made the producers include the line about how he would try to come back to his family because he didn't want to be the black father that abandoned his family. And this episode picks that up, and that bit where Jake is talking to Sam with that line of, I can't prove it, but all those things you think he missed, he didn't. He was there. And it draws that line back with Sirach, with Jake saying he was there for all of it, even if he couldn't prove it, still being there. Like I said, this one hit the feels with the scenes with him, both that talk as the recorded talk as the museum, and then the part where Sam opens the book and Jake appears. And there's been some conversation around that about, was it a hologram of Jake tied to the book? Was it Sam creating a construct of Jake? One theory out there is that was that somehow a vision of Jake put forth by the prophets themselves to give answers to Sam? So there's been some theories on exactly what happened in that scene with the book and Jake.
I was really expecting Sam to try to find a way to go out to the wormhole, and I was surprised that they didn't go. I mean, she is a cadet. It's not like she can just jump in a starship and be like, "Okay, I'm in command. Let's go here."
The other piece I really liked is when Sam was talking to Cisco and explaining how much she was struggling. I was like, "Damn, you're making me feel things. I didn't want to feel things today." Because it felt so like brutally honest, and because she is immature. She is naive because she's photonic. They didn't have a good frame of reference for like humans anymore. She's learning all this stuff every single day, trying to figure out who she is. She has demands from where she comes from, like, you got to figure out if they're trustworthy. And she's like, I'm just trying to figure out how to function, let alone how do I determine if they're trustworthy? There's billions of them. And like all the pressure that she was feeling. And I just thought that was really well done. And I was sad that like Cisco wasn't there to respond to it, to help her through it directly. But putting Jake in that like kind of advisory role was really sweet.
Did anyone catch who the voice of the like photonic, I don't know,
No, I
the
didn't look that up.
I do not want to butcher this man's name, but he was in the Doctor Strange movies. Chawadi
I'm gonna let you have that one, Kevin.
AGO4 Chihuahua AGO.
Yeah, him.
He
Yeah,
was at Lola and Kinky Boots.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but he was the voice of the like photonic
Yeah.
leader
Yeah,
or
and he's
whatever.
got quite a few credits. Because I
Oh,
mean,
Oh,
he's
he
a
does.
fantastic actor.
Wow.
um,
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was like,
was the
wait,
voice
I've
of
heard.
Scar in the 2019 Lion King remake. Was in Doctor Strange.
I knew I recognized the voice, so then I had to look up the IMDb, and I mean, you get somebody with heft like that to do a voiceover, and you're gonna notice. So that was cool, but
Mhm.
I'm not sold on how they're portraying that whole thing. I can't imagine that the chancellor and all of her friends are going to be okay with it if they just, decide to yank Sam back to their part of the universe and she's never to be seen again. I just can't imagine them being okay with that. So, but I don't know how the dynamics of the 31st century work with that. I mean, can they just press a button and she's immediately back in their space, or how does that work? I don't know.
Yeah.
Kevin, you got me thinking about the fact that if she was only made 17 days before she got to the beginning of Starfleet Academy, what does that application look like?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, how does that work?
Well, I'm almost wondering if it's not because we already saw like in episode 2, the Federation was trying to bring the Beta Zeds back in.
Right.
And I'm almost wondering if it's that same kind of thing where they're in these negotiations with the photonics of Cask, and it's before they will agree to want to join the Federation or have contact with these other races, they want to know can they be trusted. So here, we're going to send you this emissary that we want to learn all about you. So I
Yeah,
wonder if it was kind of a diplomatic type thing and not necessarily a I'm going to apply as a cadet type thing.
yeah, I'm gonna guess that
Mm-hmm.
the Federation probably would have jumped at the chance to try and open up a dialogue with these folks, and if it meant letting her into the academy, then so be it. I guess I'm more bothered by well, you do what we say within a week, or we're yanking you back, and you're going to be nothing after that. It just that's kind of gross.
It is, but I think at the same time, when you consider these are beings that have had no contact with organic individuals in a very long time, and whose main purpose is we need you to find out if we can trust them, they don't know what they're doing any more than she does.
Right. And they have pretty heavy demands because it's been so long they don't fully understand the situation anymore
hmm
either.
Or really how to learn about. I mean, I think they're looking at, oh, there's a course that says answering the unknown, and you have unknown questions. Take this. This will answer all your questions.
Yeah.
I don't think they know how to read the room either any more than
No.
what Sam does.
And getting upset with her for taking a music course where
hmm
music can actually help you understand people in music, art, food.
I especially like that it was the theremin because obviously the theremin has a very very important history with Star Trek. So
hmm Now, I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And so we also had the bar scene. And I will say, I wish Justin was here because I believe it was our last recording. He made a comment that he just wanted to see that Romulan bitch get slugged in the face.
yeah,
And boy, did he miss the one to miss because that Romulan bitch got slugged in the face.
yeah, she sucks.
Okay, I got way too much joy out of seeing her get knocked the fuck out. Go flying through a door, be like, yeah, Not sad about that.
God, that
'Cause
war college,
they're awful.
oh, they're terrible.
It's just the shocked look on everyone's face, though, when it was Sam as the one to start the bar fight and slug the person. They're all just looking like,
Okay, I actually really kind of enjoyed it. And I know it doesn't fit with standard Trek because they are academy. They are college students. They are going to do stupid college student shit. And if they didn't do that, that would feel weird. So in a sense, like having them do it feels weird because we've always seen officers and now we have cadets doing stupid college shit.
Well, famously, Captain Picard, before he was captain, got in a very famous bar fight. So
they even, if we go out to, I believe it was even back to Take Me Out to the Holodeck with Cisco, he talked about getting in a bar fight with a Vulcan when he was in the Academy, and they referenced it here. So there's something about Starfleet captains and bar fights.
Yeah.
I mean, good proving grounds.
Well, in the bar fight in the original show, that just had the captain yelling at everybody. So
I'm sure Kirk got in his fair share of bar fights, especially if I know we have feels on the Abrams first, but hey.
I was just going to say, the Chris Pine one, oh yeah, definitely he got into
I liked
the
bar fight with the Klingons in the Tribble episode in TOS.
That's what I was just talking about, because he wasn't in the fight, but he got to yell at everybody.
He got to yell at Scotty, and he was like, they insulted the ship.
Wait, so you started the fight not because they said shit about me, but because they said shit about the Enterprise. Okay, got it.
Right? I mean, that makes sense.
That definitely tracks.
Yeah.
I will say this episode is one of the ones that caused some of the people that we've been criticizing for their criticism, because this is the first episode we see Jaden wearing the skirt.
I don't know. He looked good in it, so I don't know what the problem is.
And again, allow me to direct your attention to Star Trek The Next Generation, circa 1989, and the scant.
Yeah.
And allow me to further direct you to Star Trek The Next Generation and the dress uniform, emphasis on dress.
Yeah. Well,
and that they even had pantyhose.
I'm going to say two things. In the late 80s, early 90s, people cared way too much about what people wore. And I'm also to the point in my life where I really don't give a shit what people wear for the most part. So I'm in a different part in my life, and Jaden can wear whatever he wants to make him happy. And doesn't matter to me. But I stand by the fact that those dress uniforms and the skirt uniforms did not look good.
Maybe if the dude that was wearing it had a better set of legs.
We don't body shame.
No. I think it was either Encounter at Farpoint or it was
definitely Counter. I think it was in a few episodes because they reused the same background shot a couple times.
It was one of the two first season episodes, Arsenal of Freedom or Encounter at Farpoint, where they see a couple of the guys walking around because they're separating the saucer, and that's when you see it the most. I think it might have even been both because they probably reused footage.
Yeah, I think because literally they just reused the footage and hey, look, it's the same people at the same corridor. Don't worry about it.
Doesn't look great, but again, I'm just in a different point in my life, and I just don't care what people wear.
Yeah, as long as your like bits are covered and like nothing's dangling below your pant line, I really don't give a shit.
Got it. Emily does not want to see danglies or Christopher's beats.
No beats.
Kevin, you'll have to get to season 3 to understand the beat reference.
I'm just gonna say, I can't wait to get to whatever the fuck that is.
You know when Cisco was cooking dinner in the episode Equilibrium?
Oh yeah.
And Bashir doesn't like beets?
Yeah, well, I don't either.
Well,
exactly, because
Christopher basically offered Emily his beets.
Oh, okay. Oh, and I definitely have an opinion on tomatoes in jambalaya. No.
You are absolutely wrong.
Oh, Prentice looks like
I knew you were going to say that.
Opinions on this one.
You, sir, are wrong, and you are not welcome to be wrong on this podcast anymore.
Tomatoes, if prepared right in jambalaya, could be it could be amazing. What's your prohibition against?
Oh, I'm just not a tomato guy at all. So unfortunately, if they're cooked and I can barely taste them, they're fine. So it'd probably be all right, but I'm generally anti-tomato for the most part. I would never have it on a burger. I'll eat it in salsa only because I can't taste the tomatoes in salsa.
I would say I'm with you on that, and part of mine is, I'll be honest, I have a allergy issue with citrus.
Oh, okay.
I love orange juice. I love lemonade. It all hates me.
Yeah, get it.
Can't have any of it. Tomatoes fall into that same grouping, but I still will use them. Things like chili, I make a killer spaghetti sauce. But I will say for the jambalaya, I do use a tomato. I generally will char it before I put it in, so it's got that nice and charred adds to it. So
Yeah, then you're not gonna be able to taste raw tomato or
yeah,
anything close to raw
I'm
tomato.
not gonna slice it up and put bruschetta on top of gumbo, Kevin.
Yeah.
Is it the taste, Kevin, or is it the consistency? You don't
It
like
is
how
the taste. It is
it is?
specifically the taste.
Got
Yes,
it.
the consistency. I don't care.
And I loathe ketchup, so we'll just leave that be.
Yeah. Well, no wonder you don't put lemon in your tea. Now I
Now
don't
you
know.
understand, right?
Yeah, it's been only 25 years of friendship, and I for some reason either forgot, but that's
25 years of friendship, and you just now learned why I don't put lemon in my tea.
yeah. Well, I probably just forgot. I mean, you live on the other coast, so what am I gonna do?
Only
Like,
for half that time.
yeah. Anyhow, man, it was good to see Sarah Lofton, though.
hmm
What
Like I
an
said, when
awesome.
I was late at night watching this, and the setup I've got, I have a big screen projector, and so I was watching it like theater style. And that came on, and trying to, in the middle of the night when I watched this, because it was easily 1 in the morning because I couldn't sleep, and trying not to make noises that would wake up the rest of the house.
Oh,
When, because you hear the voice first, and you kind of hear the voice behind Sam, and then they pan around and there's Jake giving this lecture about he can't talk about being the emissary, but he can talk about his dad who loved baseball, who would knock out a Q without a second thought, and which I had to chuckle at that part. Like,
yeah, oh, yeah.
the only
Obviously.
captain in Starfleet, he slugged Q, never had to deal with him again.
I wish John Delancey had been on DS9 another time or two, but it was fine to have the series Q less.
Cisco made his point with Q very clear. He knocked him flat on his ass.
And we
But
all appreciated that he did.
I'm just a huge John Delancey
Oh
fan.
yeah.
My art teacher in junior high was his college, or at least they were roomed together at some point. He told us a bunch of stories. John Delancey.
Now, is it true? I heard when they depicted the family of Cisco,
hmm
they left out his other son.
Yeah, they left out the kid that he had with Cassidy Yates.
What? Why
Yep.
would they do that?
I don't know if, and that's another one of the things that kind of caught me was I think maybe in the production design it was one of those they forgot it, and by the time they realized it, it was shit. It's already there. But another one of the things that I caught was when they were talking about Cisco's mother, and they said that she was half human, half prophet. Cisco's mom wasn't really half prophet. She was possessed by a prophet,
Yeah.
but his mother was human. Cisco was fully human, even though he was the emissary to the prophet. So I did take a little bit of that caught me, and at that point, though, I'm sitting there going, "How much of a nerd are you when you're sitting there calling that out?"
Yeah.
And yes, I am that big of a damn nerd.
Well, yeah, you're in good company. Uh, I just, man, how do you forget the other kid? Like that's terrible.
Well, and
I
I think
mean,
in
you
fair
only
because Cassidy was pregnant in the last episode,
Hmm.
and it was really season like towards the end of season 7 where Cassidy was pregnant, and I'm not excusing it, but I can at least see where that might have got overlooked. It wasn't as established as what Cisco's father was or what Jake was.
Did they establish that she was pregnant with a boy? Did they establish gender?
I don't think they ever did.
I don't
I
think they
thought they
did either.
wasn't there a scene where the baby was born and Cassie was in the light talking to Ben, or I'm just imagining that. I
There
thought
at the
in
very
that
end, there was the scene with Cat because Cassidy and Jake were in the wardroom, and they were
yeah,
talking about how they'd checked the fire caves. They couldn't find a body. There was no remains.
right.
Hmm.
And Cassidy goes into that white space like when the prophets would talk to Ben.
Sure.
Right.
And it was Cisco there talking to her, saying that he was with the prophets and that he had so much to learn and that he might be back.
But they never showed they didn't show the baby.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
I
But
For some
would
reason, I knew
swear.
it was a boy. I swear it was a boy, confirmed, but I
But
don't
did
know.
Jake mention it when he was talking to Sam? Because he mentioned
A
like those last couple
sister.
years. And now
Didn't
I'm
he?
trying to remember if he
He talked
mentioned
about the
the
last couple months because he was
sibling.
talking about how Cisco bought that property and married Cassidy,
Right.
even when the prophets told him they would know only sorrow, but those were some of the best months with him, Cassidy, and his dad.
Didn't he say something about a sister?
He
I would.
called Sam sis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all
And
right, all
that
right.
might be why my brain is melding it together because I was kind of feeling a lot of emotion, so not everything was clear.
Yeah,
It's,
even I'm checking Memory Alpha, and even it says there was a child of Benjamin Sisko and
yeah.
Cassidy Yates.
Got it. No,
And it might be a privacy thing. You never know. Like, hey, he wasn't really supposed to get married and do the thing, so we're just
Well, and every family
gonna
has
let
that
them
one
have
kid
their
that's the
life.
fuck up.
He wasn't gonna be a fuck up
Every family has the one.
unless he took after Cassidy and was smuggling weapons or something.
Yeah, you never know.
but that
Okay.
wasn't the worst. That wasn't the worst character she's ever played, right? I think it was the best. The worst villain in 24.
So,
Oh, let's Google it real quick.
Yeah,
I
she
just
was the
know her
president's
from.
wife in 24, and she's duplicitous and treacherous.
Oh, that's right. She was.
I never watched 24, so
Oh wow, that
I
was
did. I've only,
amazing.
yeah.
of course, she's been on the Orville. And I really
mhm.
like her.
Oh,
She
I
was the
love her on
doctor
the
on the Orville.
Orville.
Oh yeah, she's really good. Honestly, if it hadn't been for Tig Notaro in the scene with the dinner, I would have wanted to hurt myself.
I still don't understand who they were supposed to be having dinner with or what the hell that was all about because it just
Oh,
seemed weird
it was
and
just bad.
Yeah,
it
it was supposed to be like some other chancellor, I guess, from another military academy from some other species. But yeah, it was
well,
weird.
I thought they were setting it up for a conflict because when Kelric and Nala were talking, he was talking about having the dinner with them, and she questioned, like, but they don't reach out to people.
Hmm.
And I was like, are we setting something up with this? Because you're pointing out that it's not a normal thing that happens. And then it was just like a weird dinner setup. So I haven't watched past this episode yet.
I have, and I'm trying to keep quiet
Good luck.
because I was about to say something. And I'm like, no, I see where the connection points are, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait till y'all watch episode 6.
Yeah, not knowing how soon we were going to record, I was trying to not get too far ahead, but
So yeah, I think some of this and I think a few of the struggles that some of you are having will be resolved as we go through some of the episodes that are upcoming.
I deeply hope so because I don't sign up to watch a show and enjoy hating it like I mentioned earlier like some people, which I do not understand. I would love to like this show. And I have liked a couple of the
Mhm.
episodes and I like certain aspects of some episodes. This one. Overall, I'm just not sold.
Well, and this is what we've commented on, though. It's when you've got something you don't like, though, you can point to a specific. You can point to it's the jokes they've been writing, it's the way they've written a character, it's something tangible that you can point to in the episode to say, this is what I don't like. It's not just a blind, all all rage-induced dislike of anything new Star Trek due to some perceived slight of it. And this is even the comment we made before with in our previous episode is what a lot of people are commenting on about it being woke or it having these different types of characters. That's always been in Star Trek. Star
Mhm.
Trek has always had these pieces, and representation matters. So if you have a Klingon who happens to be gay, that representation matters, and that's not something that is indication of some woke garbage, like some people are calling it, or it really baffles me when I hear, and we brought this up during Babylon 5, it's come up during Star Trek discussions, is there are people who profess to be fans of this franchise. And you really have to wonder, it's like, what did you watch that's the lesson you took away?
They like the pew pew pew. All they like.
It's like you seriously watched a very different show than what I did, or had a very
Yeah.
different experience than what I had watching this show. Because what you came away with and what I came away with are not the same thing.
As toxic as the sci-fi fandom can be, and unfortunately, being a fan of a few different sci-fi genres, I it's almost worse than Star
Mhm.
Wars, which is probably why people will decide that they would rather not do anything with the Star Wars universe anymore because that one more toxic than this one, although this one is getting
But what's interesting, and I think part of it is the internet has given a lot more voice to people who
yeah.
used to
Yeah.
just sit in their parents' basement and mumble. Now they have a keyboard and an internet connection. But if you go back to look at the initial press when Star Trek The Next Generation came out, there was a ton of backlash and negative feedback about that show. It wasn't the original series. The captain's too old. Oh my God, the captain's bald. There was criticism thrown at Star Trek The Next Generation, which now the fandom claims is beloved. Star Trek Deep Space Nine came out, and that really rocked some people's worlds. And it's even been said all the way through its run, it was the redheaded stepchild of the Star Trek franchise.
Yep.
It is only in more recent times that DS9 has seen a resurgence in popularity. And even Tawny Newsome commented on that in why she wanted to show DS9 some love in one of these episodes. Is because she said the fans that have learned to love this show have been waiting a very long time to see DS9 get validated the way the other shows in the franchise have been.
And I respect her a ton for
But then you go to Voyager comes out. And how much backlash did Voyager get, especially with a woman as the captain? So
not why it should get backlash, but okay.
but the point is every new iteration of this franchise, every new series that comes out, you get these people that want to gatekeep the franchise to what their idealized version of it should be.
Oh, Enterprise got tons of
Early Enterprise had some problems. I was not a fan of Early Enterprise. I know you were.
I am. Yeah, I like it.
I have grown to appreciate it more, but I did not like Enterprise at first. There are still parts of it I don't care for. I think it got better as it went.
Yeah.
I think its last season was its best season, minus the series finale. Worst series finale in the entire franchise.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
Absolute
Hands
disappointment.
down.
Anyway, I have a question.
But looking at this with that, I think each one gets to stand on its own, and it can have its own fan base. And I mean, Kevin, that you don't like the 31st century shows is perfectly valid. That
Yeah.
I tend to like them better than what others have is also valid.
Yeah.
And I think there's room in the fandom that you can have these new stories. You can sit there and go, hey, not my thing, and not watch it and go watch the old reruns on Paramount Plus, and that's fine. But let these shows reach that new audience. Bring those individuals in. Because honestly, it was Star Trek 2009 and the resurgence off that brought us back into, hey, maybe we can get Star Trek back on the air. There was re-interest in DS9 that contributed to a big resurgence in different things. With even the documentary, What We Left Behind, came out talking about DS9 and really stoked a lot more interest in the show than what it even had at the time that it ran. So I'm okay with where they're going. I think there's enough Star Trek out there that everybody can find their little niche corner of the Star Trek universe. Watch the shows they like. Don't watch the ones they don't like, but at least give them a try.
Right.
Okay, so can I ask my question?
Sure.
How did you all feel about Dax being part Cardassian?
If any Trill was going to bang a Cardassian, it was going to be
it's gonna be a Dax. Because I wasn't sure about it at first, and then I saw something came across Facebook and was Tawny Newsome discussing it, and I sent it to Blake. And after I read her explanation, I was like, okay, I get it now. I can see it. But initially, I didn't even tag her as Cardassian. I'm
didn't
like,
either.
what the fuck is going on? But yeah, she's part Cardassian.
I wasn't sure what the race was, but it doesn't bother me. I was watching, I forget what it was. I was watching with my son who's 9, and I wanted him to understand that when you dislike somebody, you don't dislike everyone else that looks like them. You have a reason for disliking an individual person for a good reason. And you don't shift that on to somebody else who doesn't deserve it. And so for Dax to have at some point in the future had a relationship with a Cardassian, that doesn't bother me at all. In fact, that's what Star Trek is all about, is infinite complexity and infinite combination.
Well, and to those that didn't see the explanation, and Emily, tell me if this was a different one than you saw, was basically Tawny Newsome did not want to appear as a Trill because it was too humanoid and she would have been too recognizable as, hey, that's Beckett Mariner. So what they did was we have short notice, because as much money as they're spending on this, their timelines are still a little on the tight side. It was, here are the prosthetics we have that we can quickly put you into and make work.
Yep.
Choose which of these options you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Cardassian was one, and given how they are record keepers, which we know can bite you in the ass if you keep really good records of all your atrocities. But even still, they were good at keeping records, meticulous records, so it would make sense in that respect of keeping the stories and Jake's story and all that information regarding Cisco.
Yeah, it wouldn't make
It was like
sense
a
for
record of him.
anyone else to have that book besides Dak
Yeah.
at this point in the future.
So before we wrap it up, I want to go back to talk about the Doctor a little bit. So we had that scene after the bar fight with a drunk hologram, which I will say the idea of the drunk hologram did not bother me. I actually thought it was amusing. And the reason it didn't bother me is because I remembered back to Voyager, they actually programmed one of the times that the Doctor in his bedside manner was annoying people, and he was like, "You're fine, get your ass back to work." Remember, they programmed the Doctor to actually be sick and have an illness
Yes.
so that he could experience that.
That
So
was amazing.
so that did not bother me that they programmed where where the hologram could experience being drunk. And let's face it, I believe we could all go back to our own college experiences and to figure out a time where perhaps we had more shots than what we intended to.
I don't know what you're talking about, Blake.
Not
That never
Prentice.
happened to me.
I doubt Prentice would ever have
Or it could
engaged
have
in
been at
such
some of our
behaviors.
friends' weddings that this event occurred.
Oh, where's Justin when you need him?
Yours wasn't much better. Those blasted little cherries that were on the bar were dangerous.
Yeah, well, it was a fun time.
But with the scene with the Doctor, and he made that comment about being disappointed. And this has been one of my criticisms, is I felt they have made the Doctor at times a little pricklier than needed to be, especially towards Sam. If you look at the interactions, like Sam reveres the Doctor and looks at him as a mentor. But even in their first interactions, like he couldn't get away from her fast enough. And in this one, it was all about, "I'm disappointed in you," and then had that transition to, and it was, I can't remember the question, but Sam was like, "How do you get over something?"
Oh, get over the loss.
How do you get over the loss? And the Doctor was like, "You forget about it and move on." And just that snap, cold response.
Yeah, I've noticed there's some scenes where he's just unnecessarily douchey.
I don't know. I was thinking about this after the episode, and I even remarked to my wife, because we're watching it together, and I said, "Do you think that that's a natural reaction to living for nearly a millennium and everyone you have ever known is dead?"
Is dead. Yeah. I mean,
perhaps that is their thought process with the writing, and that does make sense. It doesn't mean I like it. It does make some sense.
And again, because I know we're going to get called about this in the comments, because I know other people have watched ahead at this point. Yes, I've watched ahead. Yes, I just asked a loaded question for a reason, because I'm curious what your thoughts are at this point with those interactions. So yes, listeners, I know what the fuck I'm asking. I know what I'm doing. Keep it to yourself.
no, he doesn't.
I don't have any problem with that. You know what's coming. That's the entire premise.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the listeners who hit our comments.
I know, but this is entirely the premise of, especially the lies in Grey 17, is that there are people that know more than others, and that helps guide the conversation. So if they don't like it, feel free to check out. Yeah.
Prentice, how do you feel about the Doctor?
I was also questioning. He's been prickly towards Sam, but I think, hopefully in the future we'll have more answers. With that being the case, I was hoping him to be a little bit more warm. So I didn't understand as of the watching this episode or episodes before why he had that behavior. But I think, Kevin, look, if you're around for 1,000 and a lot of people you know and love are dead and gone, I see why it might be preventing him from informing him. So it kind of makes sense to me from that standpoint, because really, immortality is it is not the benefit that most people think it is, because after a time you have seen it all, done it all, and there's so many people that won't be able to experience that same life or that immortality with you. So to me, it's more of a pain than a gain.
They did this type of storyline on Highlander many times.
So, I can't wait to see a new movie. That's going to be awesome. But yes, you're absolutely right.
So that was kind of my thought process was, I don't like it either. I wish that they were doing something a little bit more meaningful. Look how the discussion between Jaden and the commander, and I don't mean Calric, Laura Thok, went and how nice that was.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have had a really nice moment with the Doctor and Sam in one of the previous episodes, or this one would have been a great time to have that. But I wonder if they were too afraid of it being too much like the one with Jaden and Laura, or whether they are just deciding to go some other way with this. But man, it could have been nice and heartfelt, and they just did not go that, and that's a shame.
Let me ask this question. Do we think we'll be seeing the other Doctor show up in this show?
Andy
Remember?
Dick? No,
No,
please, no. Please, God, no.
I don't think they could get him licensed or bonded. There's not enough cocaine in all of Canada.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the backup Doctor that was making his way towards Voyager after being reactivated.
Oh. I had that same thought because I was just doing a little bit of a Voyager trip through, and I watched that episode. Yeah. And I wondered about that too, Prentice. That's really good. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Andy Dick. And I was no. Dear God, no.
I forgot the name of the episode. That was one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, it's so good.
When you talk about race and differences and how do you remember the past, so I thought about that other day to say that he still, what happened? That episode took place 800 years in the future?
Yeah, it was 800, yeah. So it would, but
it's
the end of the 31st century, right? Mm-hmm. So you could make that work.
Yeah, conceivably that could work.
That could, yeah.
Unless we wanted to get into a whole discussion about time paradoxes and go that when Voyager got home earlier than anticipated, it threw the whole...
No, I think that had nothing to do with it, though, right? So, I mean, no, so...
Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, because that all happened before, so no, that would work.
Yeah, it would work, yeah.
It's season 4, I know that. I'm trying to find the episode. I put in 800 years. It was just
that series fucked with the timeline so many times, though, with between Year of Hell and a few other things, it got a little hard to track on occasion.
Yeah. Is it retrospect?
I would almost put in the search.
Living Witness.
Yeah, Living Witness.
Living Witness. Great episode.
And it says in this description 700 years, but I feel like it said 8. I could be wrong. It might have been 7.
But yeah, there could still be another Doctor running around.
Right. So, yeah. You don't know something we don't, do you? Do you, Blake?
I know many things you don't, Kevin.
You're going to quote West Wing. The list of things that I know that you do not could
stun a team of oxens in its track.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep, good one.
So I think that runs through our discussion of this episode, and I do want to drop at this end part here, and we can't play it because, unlike Scott, I don't want to get us umpteen copyright strikes. I love you, Scott, but goddamn, did you really have to use all of the copyrighted materials out there? Jesus.
Right.
So before we give our final thoughts here, I do just want to read the bit that was from Avery Brooks's spoken word piece that was on as Cisco. Divine laws are simpler than human ones, which is why it takes a lifetime to be able to understand them. Only love can understand them. Only love can interpret these words as they were meant to be interpreted. And that was the final voiceover in the episode, followed up on screen with "Thank you, Avery." And with that, I think that wraps up our discussion of series Acclamation Mill. Make sure to follow us on your podcast app of choice or check us out at any of our social links down below. And until next time, I have been Blake, and with me has been...
Prentice.
Kevin.
And Emily.
There we go.